why not us? Oh, why not us? 'Cause I'm right here. And no, I'm not counting myself out. I'm getting there. Even if I gotta make my own route. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Gray Report. I'm with host George Schwertl, and I'm host Mark McLaughlin. George, how's everything going?
I have no complaints, Mark. I'm here with you, and we're here with Denise Merrifield.
Yes.
Who is running for council in Riverhead. Mm-hmm. Let's hear it. That's great. Denise Merrifield. And as I said to her earlier, my name's Schwertl like turtle, and hers Merrifield like Merry Christmas. I like that. Denise, how are you today?
I'm good. Very good, George. Thank you. And Mark, hi.
One thing I've been out in Riverhead a lot lately, and I keep hearing Denise Merrifield's name. So I guess you're really out there. Everybody's talking about you.
I've been walking.
That's what I hear. You've been walking and knocking, and that's a big thing in political races. And I tell it to everyone: you have to knock on the doors. It's a great thing. We all lose about 10, 15 pounds doing that. And so it's got great points. You meet everybody in the neighborhood. And it's a great thing. And I know we spoke earlier. Now, you've lived in Riverhead for how long?
26 years. My family, yes, we moved there 26 years ago.
26 years ago. Wow, that's great. So you're a native. You've been there for 26 years. And you have two children, you
said?
Yes,
two adult children. My daughter is a lawyer, and my son is a middle school teacher. That's
great. And they went through the school system, and you grew up out there. That's great. Yes. Wow, it's nice to see you're giving back to your community. You want to run, and again, just what made you decide that you wanted to run?
Well, additionally, I spent 30 years in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office.
Okay, great.
I was mostly out in Riverhead the entire time.
Sure.
So I have real strong, long ties to Riverhead, in that I've always been out there helping the community. While the DA's office in Riverhead represented everyone in Suffolk,
sure.
I'm out in Riverhead the whole time, taking care of the community there. I was in homicide for 11 years.
Jeez.
I was there. I tried 29 homicide cases to guilty verdicts. I'm very proud of that.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Wow,
and
that's great.
I went on to become a Deputy Bureau Chief of Child Abuse and Domestic Violence. Mm-hmm. I supervised 15 ADAs in their prosecution of violent felonies.
Wow.
I did that for 11 years. Those crimes involve physical and sex abuse of children, domestic partner abuse. And then I went on to become a Deputy Bureau Chief in the Major Crime Bureau, where I supervised another 9 ADAs in their prosecution of violent felonies such as rape, robbery, burglary, just that whole gambit of violent crime. I did that for several years. So my background has always been about protecting and serving and helping my community. So I feel like this is just an extension of that.
Right.
Being on the town board, I'm now proactively helping my community, whereas when I was a DA, I'd have to wait for somebody to get arrested in order to help.
Sure.
This is just another way to help the community.
Right.
Denise, you have a lot that you've accomplished, with your career, and we're going to speak more about, upcoming things as well. But give our audience a little bit about your humble beginnings. Like, what inspired you to do all that you do?
Well, okay. I always wanted to be a lawyer. Ever since I was a kid, if there was something, someone was talking about something, I had an opinion. I was that annoying kid that always had something to say. And my dad actually always encouraged me to speak, and was always very, always thought it was great for women to have a voice and to give an opinion, and that has stayed with me my whole life.
I love that, because I have 4 daughters, and I always say, listen, speak up. You have to get out there and give your opinion and let people know what's going on. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your dad for saying that to you. It's as a parent, a father of 4 daughters, I think that's great. That's great.
Always encouraged me. And it just stayed with me and never left. And I always kept opening my mouth after that.
It's unbelievable. The district attorney's office, that's some career, and that's great that you want to give back.
I'm curious to know what made you want to transcend from the district attorney's office to now becoming a councilwoman candidate.
Well, my career, I worked 30 years in the DA's office, and I retired in 2018. And then I went on to become an adjunct professor at Toro Law School. I teach New York evidence and trial advocacy. So I'm helping the law school students become lawyers, and I volunteer my time coaching their mock trial team in national competitions. And I felt it was a transition to now move from helping just lawyers and helping in the legal field to wanting to help the community in a much broader sense, economically, socially, not just in crime. If that answers the question, I'm not sure.
And I'm very impressed by that, because not everybody can make that jump, and I commend you on doing so. I've seen you in debates, I've heard you speak, and I know you for the betterment of the community. So I'm excited to know about some of your future plans too.
Okay. All right.
That's great. I know we spoke earlier, and I know one of your subjects that you're definitely against is the massive warehouses, you're saying.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What's going on with that?
Right. There's a particular area in Riverhead. Calverton is the hamlet.
Sure.
They have a large the area is zoned industrial in a large section. There is a residential section, but there's a large industrial section. And the residents there are very upset at the thought of Amazon-type warehouses coming into their community with tremendous pollution and traffic. And one of the things I want to make sure of is that we have a comprehensive plan that the town is working on right now, and we want to make sure that that's completed, which it engages the public and gets all the information from them about what they'd like to see. So we're trying to balance the economic growth of the town with the development of these different types of businesses, not necessarily warehouses, and the commerce it brings and the taxes it helps with the town for all of the infrastructure of the town, police, roads, sanitation, and also their betterment of their community.
Right.
So that's something very important to me. I want to make sure that they're not sitting there in huge traffic jams with horrible pollution from trucks all over the place. So I want to make sure that we follow the comprehensive plan when that finishes, which should be very soon.
I like that. I would call that smart development.
It is.
I like
Yes.
that. Smart development.
Yes.
Not overdevelopment, it's smart development.
That's right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I this question comes to my mind when you say these great words. What are some of your top priorities for the community of Riverhead?
My top priority, I come from Wading River. And Wading River has I don't know what exactly is flying over us, but we have enough with helicopters.
Sure.
Every weekend, I can sit in my backyard and I can just about wave to the pilots in the helicopters. So I do not want any airport over at EPCAL.
Sure.
And originally, Grumman did have the property. The U.S. government, the Navy had given it to Grumman, and then Grumman did have an aeronautics industry there, but that left in the late 90s. Right. And the town has been trying to commercially develop that. Well, there's a developer that has come into the picture that claims they're not looking to build an airport, but frankly, I don't think any of us believe them at this point. And I want to make sure, being on the town board, that never develops into a commercial or a cargo jet airport, a passenger, commercial, or cargo jet airport. We don't need that in Riverhead Town. You have Gabreski Airport.
Sure.
Nearby, you have Calabro or Brookhaven Airport. We have Islip Airport. We don't need an airport in Wading River. That's a big priority for me to make sure that hopefully that deal does not go through. But if somehow it did, I would want to make sure that they get held to every zoning that is currently on the books for them right now, and I would never, ever permit any special permit for them to be able to build an airport there if I'm on the town board.
So it already sounds like you're the voice of the residents. Really, it sounds like that's why
we'll
you're
find
running.
out in a few weeks.
I feel good about this. I really do. That's great.
Talking about voices, how do you plan on representing and engaging with the voices of diverse voices in Riverhead?
Well, for one thing, I love Riverhead. I love the fact that it is very diverse. I love the different cultures we have in our town. Right. I want to keep bringing in, especially the businesses from all of this. I know, Mark, you're very involved with the Anti-Bias Task Force, and one of the things that you had spoken about is entrepreneurship.
Right.
And I would like to see much more of that because I think that engages the diverse community, and that creates a lot of unity. Especially with people, commerce coming in from all different types of cultures, whether it's arts or whether it's food or entertainment or just any other type of business. All of that helps the community. So I'd like to definitely make sure we keep expanding those ways, especially with entrepreneurs from different diverse backgrounds.
I like that. She got me at food as soon as I heard food. I'm like,
yeah, I really do appreciate what you said because one of the things I'd like to see is, come to fruition is workshops. Everybody wants to open up a business, but they don't know how.
Sure.
So if we could create workshops to show people how to go about it, what to do, what not to do, give them some guidance.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, with you being our next Councilwoman of Riverhead, we can see those workshops.
Oh, absolutely.
Come to life.
I like
think
that a lot. I like that a lot. You
I
know.
do too. I think that'd be absolutely amazing.
Some people don't even know how to file for grants. They should be.
sure.
There should be workshops teaching people how to do so.
Absolutely.
It's a great. I'm glad you brought that up. I love that with workshops. I know that I've spoken to people such as even our sheriff, and he's discussed, as far as work, teaching, plumbing and heating, electricity. There's so many different trades out there that are needed, that are really needed, and it's something that's a bridge you can cross down the road. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And I would definitely volunteer my time for that. So I know you have my number, so I'll make sure I'm there for that.
It's Schwertl time.
I like that. I like that a lot. We need a workforce out there. I'm just seeing here. It's great stuff. Anything else? I see the economic growth. I know that I don't think I have to ask this. I know you support law enforcement, which
Absolutely.
is great.
100%.
That's great. I have 8 children. Not that I'm talking about myself, but I just worry about my family going out. And that's the
Right.
biggest thing with being pro law enforcement. I have to tell my wife to go out of the buddy system now. I know you've got the outlets out there, and everybody loves the outlets and loves to go shopping out there. But it's just crime is definitely.
A concern.
Up.
It's a big concern for everyone. One of the things that I don't think gets spoken up enough about is the great work that the police departments do. I know from firsthand experience as an assistant DA, the great job they do on a case, that doesn't make the paper.
Sure.
Something bad. Listen, there's bad in every profession.
Of course.
But it is not any different than any other profession, but there are so many fantastic police officers and women that do tremendous things. I could go on and on about stories of bravery that I know from cases. And I always go back to something people don't really grasp. Being a member of law enforcement or a firefighter, how many of us have a job where you kiss your family goodbye in the morning and you really don't know whether you're going to make it home that night? I don't think enough people really realize that that's the job they have, that they really don't know. Something really horrible could happen any given moment while you're on duty.
Wow. And that's a point that should be brought up more often.
That people should really appreciate a lot more actually, the work that they do to protect us.
It just made me think about it. It's the truth.
Well, I do commend the police force out in Riverhead. I shake their hands every chance I get, because I see the work that they put in, and they are community, enforcement. Like, they really are like nice people. They know. I'll tell you, in some areas I've seen a lot of things go on, and our police force, they handle it well. They go about it well. They diffuse. They don't amplify the negativity. They know what to do. They know how to go about it. So yes, I want to echo your words. Like, they don't get enough credit.
I'll talk them up about one quick story. I was at the Polish Hall. The last Thursday of every month, they have a steak night. And it's really a nice gathering place for everybody in the town to just go, and you bring whoever you want and you can have dinner. It's actually, they have fantastic steak.
I'm coming out.
They really do. And some man, unfortunately, was choking at a table, one of the tables.
Jeez.
And thank God there were some firefighters. I apologize because I don't remember where they were from. Right. They were not from Riverhead. They were from a different area, but they had immediately come over to the man and were helping, trying to work on him. And the police came immediately, rushed right on in, went over to him. They started performing CPR on him. And thank God they were able to save his life. So they did a phenomenal job. Really was a great job the police did.
That's great.
And that I got to witness firsthand. They were terrific. The
That's
Riverhead PD.
wonderful. You hear so many stories like that. And well, you hear about them, but you don't hear about them. And that's just great. That's great. And when is the voting day? I see is November 7th. Isn't it early voting, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, it starts October 28th.
October 28th. And where do you vote? Where could people go to vote on October 28th?
You have to check. There are specific locations. It's not it's not necessarily your normal polling station.
Right, someone's a firehouse or something? Or
you can check with the Board of Elections on their website to tell everybody exactly where to go. I know one of them is at the American Legion Hall on Hubbard, but I don't know if that's for everywhere in Riverhead. There are probably a few locations.
Gotcha. So that's great. So the 20, are you saying the 28th?
October 28th.
October 28th and
through the 5th.
Obviously the
5th
early.
And then is that early? And the actual election day is the 7th.
That's great. That's great. And you're running, I see, Republican conservative.
Yes.
Great. That's great. I know the leaders from both parties, and that's great. I like your card here, experience, practical. I like practical leadership. And great palm card. I'm reading everything about it. I like the law enforcement. I didn't even see it. It's smart economic growth. I like that. I like smart growth is big.
I have a question. What's your experience with knocking on doors and meeting the people of Riverhead? How's the interaction been?
Very well. Actually, people are really terrific. At first everybody's a little nervous. Who's this at my door? You're just knocking, and I know at first they're probably all thinking, "Oh, what's this lady selling?" Right? But as soon as I identify myself and just say I'm just coming by to say hi and introduce myself, I'm running for town council, and then I just tell them a little bit about me, and everybody's very receptive. Even people. I have to be honest, even people from the Democratic Party have been very nice to me, very open and engaging, and some have been very receptive, which I'm very happy about.
That's great to hear, and I think with different. I travel the whole island, and I find with small town politics, let's put the party aside. Let's vote for the person.
Exactly.
And I see that a lot right now. And again, I don't care what party you're from. You want safety. You want smart development.
Right.
You want smart economic growth. Respect our police, and I want to be able to go out with my family and be safe.
That's absolutely right. What I wanted to let everybody know is I'm knocking on your door the same as a Republican or conservative, because if I'm elected, I'm representing you as well.
Correct.
I'm not representing one party, representing everyone.
Right.
I like that. That's the way, and that's the way it should be. Really, I believe that. It's obviously, parties, but everybody's got to remember it's one town.
Right.
And let's vote for the person who's going to represent the town properly. I like it. I like that a lot. I mean, I think we touched on everything. Is there anything else you want to discuss? Or
Well, I'd like to let's have a little fun.
All right.
You touched on the restaurants earlier. What are some of your places, like, where do you like to go to eat in Riverhead? Like, give our audience like an in-depth of your likes, like what excites you about Riverhead.
Well, this is actually very, down to earth. I love going to the Star Confectioner. Okay. I love going there. They make phenomenal BLTs, and their French fries are amazing. And he
my favorite.
They had the chocolates that they make for the holidays are great.
Right.
That's one of my favorites. Over by me, the Watermark is also a really nice restaurant in Wading River, a little closer to Wildwood State Park. There's Pazzo Pizza that I love.
Pizza.
I love that. But there's and Pusinella's is absolutely amazing at the Rock, the golf course over in Wading River. Can you tell I'm a Wading River girl? So those are different places I like to go
restaurants,
to.
Pizza, BLTs.
Yeah.
I love. I'm getting hungry already.
I know. I gotta visit some place when we get off.
Hey, look at that. I like that.
Denise, what do you want to leave our audience with? Like, the mic is yours.
I will be someone that will be always there to help the community, serve the community. I am a very dedicated public servant. I've been one my whole life, and I will continue to be that as a town council person. And the other thing I'd like to tell everybody is consider donating a kidney to help a transplant recipient. I think that's very important.
I love that you brought that up, because I don't get a chance to sit with a lot of people that have saved lives, and you have literally saved a life. Would you mind touching on that?
I'm going to get choked up.
Wow.
My husband needed a kidney transplant. He actually had one over 20 years ago. His cousin was phenomenal. She donated a kidney. The first time when he needed it, I tried to donate, but they told me I was not compatible. Kind of funny, right?
Sure.
You're not compatible with your husband. But I was not a match. But fast forward over 20 years later now, in 2018, my husband needed a second kidney transplant. They're actually lasting much longer now as well, but it only lasted about 20 years because the different types of medication you take. It actually harms the kidney over time because you're taking anti-rejection medication. So my son wanted to get tested, and he did. And my son was told that he was a match. So when I found, now he's an adult, I apologize, I didn't mention that he was a little boy at the time, and now he's an adult, and he goes and gets tested, and they tell him he's a match. And I said, how can that be? So I immediately cut the line, told my son, "You're out.
Right.
I'm stepping in. Make me test." And I tested, and I was the match.
Wow.
And I was the match, and I was able to give him. So my message is, even if maybe you were told no previously, it maybe could be a match now. The technology, the DNA evidence, that's my background, the DNA information and such they have now has really advanced, and it really, really will save someone's life. And you can live, I'm living proof, you can live a very normal, productive, full life. No restraints, no constrictions. I work out, I'm doing this, I teach. Absolutely no
great.
change whatsoever.
You're pulling strings right now because, like, I lost my niece to kidney failure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and her mother was on dialysis and passed away, and COVID damaged my kidneys. But Peconic Bay Medical Center in Riverhead saved my life, and my kidneys are healthy. So I don't mean to sound all shaken up by your story, but it you're very inspiring.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
And I know you're right for Riverhead, and Riverhead would be so lucky to have you.
So lucky.
I'm very sorry about your family members. I'm very, very sorry. And I'm glad you're healthy and have recovered.
And I'm glad you saved his life.
And you know what? And we actually are a match, I guess, right?
Yes.
We're a good match.
Wow. I mean, I had to tell you that this was some interview. Yeah. You're crying. I'm over here. I got to tell you, I mean, what a great candidate. Yeah. I mean, Riverhead is going to be very lucky. They already are lucky that she lives there, but look, she wants to be involved in the community and give back to the community. What do I say? Yeah. This is great. Yeah. Some interview.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
This is the Great Report, where we humanize, and we're so happy to have you here, Denise. I know I asked you if there's anything you want to leave us with, but again, tell people where they can find you, your social media, anywhere that they can learn more about you.
Oh, my website, okay, yeah. Denise Merrifield for Riverhead.com, or my card here. Where are we? Committee to elect DeniseMerrifield.com. That's Denise Merrifield for Riverhead Town Council. That's my Facebook account. I have a QR code. I'm actually in the 21st century with this now.
That's great.
But and my palm cards were all over the place as well. So thank you.
All right.
I'm going to leave off as wow. That's all I have to say is wow.
Thank you, George.
Schwertl time said wow.
That's just that's wow.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, George.
Well, this is George Schwertl. I'm Mark McLaughlin. Our guest today, Denise Merrifield, and this is the Great Report. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Why not us? Oh, why not us? 'Cause I'm right here.